Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, an update on my attempts to give up my Kindle. So yes, I made a video a couple of weeks ago where I talked about the fact I'm going to try and give up using my Kindles and try and leave the Kindle ecosystem completely. So just to summarise that video for people who haven't seen it, my reasons for doing that are twofold really. One is a kind of growing unease, I suppose, at the scale and the power that Amazon has in the marketplace, the fact that they are so very dominant, and then linked to that a kind of personal feeling that the way I was interacting with Amazon services, if you like, and particularly the volume of Kindle books that I was buying, probably wasn't good for me. I was buying far too many Kindle books that I never got around to reading. There's something about the way that Amazon pushes stuff to me that means that I personally am unable to resist, particularly the very cheap Kindle books that they put on deals. So for that reason, it felt like the right time for me to try and break away from Amazon. And there's also some kind of uneasiness, I guess, I feel about the way Kindle devices actually work. So the fact that they are very much a marketplace for Amazon books and products and services like Kindle Unlimited, rather than just being devices to read on. So a few different things that have been playing in my mind for a little while. And this kind of began for me as a thought experiment, kind of trying to think about what would I need to do to stop using my Kindle. Because, clearly I love reading. It's my main hobby and I love reading digital books. And I think some people who maybe didn't watch all of that video, who started watching that video, came away with the misconception that I was talking about giving up e-readers, which is absolutely not the case. I'm specifically talking about giving up Kindles. So giving up using my Kindle and using the Kindle apps on my iPad and my phone. I will definitely still read digitally and continue to read digitally. I love reading digitally. I find it a really easy way to consume books. It's just super convenient. So those are some of the reasons why I'm trying to give it up. And as I say, this began as a thought experiment. What are the things I would need to do in order to break away from the Amazon ecosystem? Now, I recognise that I am fortunate to be able to do this. I'm fortunate that I have other devices that I am able to read digitally on, like my Bigme Inknote and my Books Palmer. I recognise that for some people, stopping using Amazon services will be more difficult than it is for me. The reason Amazon are so big is because they do a good job of providing the things people want at a price people are prepared to pay. They are often cheaper than other places and their customer service tends to be really good. So I completely get why Amazon are as big as they are. And a lot of the negative, if you like, reaction I got to that initial video was from people saying, you just need to exercise self-control. Amazon aren't doing anything wrong. They're just a business. And I get that to a degree. But as I said at the start, I personally find it difficult to resist that stuff. And I think Amazon, to an extent, exploit that. They know that they've got people out there who are, who they can push stuff to, and they use the Kindle as a way to push more content to you. Now, I've recently got a Cobo, which I made an unboxing video about the other day. The Cobo does not push products to you in any way near the same way that the Kindle does. It's a much lighter experience from that perspective. It feels like a device for reading rather than the Kindle, which feels like 50% a device for reading, 50% a device to sell you stuff. So yeah, there was definitely some negative reaction to that initial video. At least one person said I was a pathetic whinger. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and everyone is entitled to spend their money in the way they want to and use the companies that they want to in order to spend their money. You be you. But for me personally, and it is a personal thing, for me personally, I'm just not that comfortable with Amazon anymore. I think they have become too dominant. Now, one of the challenges that has come up since then, and one of the things that people did mention in the comments on the video, which I hadn't, if I'm honest, given an awful lot of thought to, so I thought I would address it. And what I'm also going to do in this video is just give a general update on how it's been going in the last couple of weeks, how the steps I'm putting in place to break away from Amazon have gone. So the comment that some people made was that they would find it very difficult to give up Kindle Unlimited. And some people also said that one of the things that Amazon provides, which is a benefit, if you like, for the bookish community generally, is the fact that it makes it very easy for indie authors to publish their work. And that by giving up on Amazon, I'm kind of in a way giving up on indie authors. And I'll be honest, I hadn't really thought about that until I saw those comments. So let's talk about those things in turn. So firstly, Kindle Unlimited. So I'm not a Kindle Unlimited subscriber. I used to be. I gave up my Kindle Unlimited subscription when I started doing the Read What You Own challenge, where I just read books I already own rather than buying new ones. I have always found with Kindle Unlimited, and I've been a subscriber on and off for 2 or 3 years probably, I've always found like I don't feel like I get my money's worth out of it. So I go through periods where I will read a few books in a month that are, books I get through Kindle Unlimited. But I'm 99% sure that if I actually went through and toted up the cost of buying all the books I've read on Kindle Unlimited versus the amount I've paid in subscription on Kindle Unlimited, I would find that I was out of pocket. I think it's one of those services that it feels like it's really great to have. Again, this is a personal thing. This is my experience of it. It always felt like a really nice thing to have, and I would spend time like browsing all the Kindle Unlimited books, and you have a limit of 20, I think, that you can have on your device, like downloading anything to my device and so on. But very rarely actually reading them. There have been some instances when there's a book I really wanted to read, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, fantastic, I can read it. I've certainly used it for like book clubs and things like that in the past. But generally speaking, I don't feel like I was getting my money's worth out of Kindle Unlimited. But it is true that Amazon do make it very easy for people to publish independently. I personally have published independently through Amazon. So in the past, when I used to write, I published a couple of novels and some short stories through Amazon, and indeed the Garbology, so the anthology of short fiction, which I'm involved in, which is being released to coincide with Garb August this year, my reading event. That will be published via Amazon. So yes, Amazon make it really easy for people to publish. A couple of people have made response videos to my video, and the comment that in one of those videos that really stuck with me was from a channel called Booklist Pete. And what Booklist Pete said about Kindle Unlimited and about independent publishing on Kindle, and this matches my own experience of having published on Kindle, is that Amazon make it possible for you to buy any independently published book you want as long as they show it to you. And that is, I think, really, really key, because what Amazon do is they make it really easy for you to publish your book. And as I say, I published a few different things, and I sold, like tens of copies. I sold tens of copies of my books, apart from one series of short stories I wrote about a cat, which clearly something about the way I'd named them or something like that meant that they were showing up in searches, and I sold a reasonable number of copies of those, like a few thousand copies. But generally speaking, like my 2 novels sold like tens of copies, and I'm pretty sure that all of the copies of those books I sold were off the back of me promoting it on Twitter and places like that to people, and like people I knew buying copies of my book, rather than people finding it on Amazon. The problem with Amazon is there are so many independently published books on Amazon that as an independent writer, you have to spend as much time promoting your books as you do writing them in order to sell, even a reasonable number of copies. But what Amazon do is Amazon they give you the opportunity to pay to promote your books on Amazon. So they get money out of you as an independently published author to promote your books so that more people see them and buy them. And clearly there have been some indie authors who have kind of broken out and who Amazon will talk about a lot in their promotional material. But, speaking as someone who was an independently published author on Amazon, the vast majority of indie authors, whilst they can publish their works that way, and it's very, very easy to do it technically, they're not reaching a big audience, because it's unless you are actually searching for a specific author or a specific title, you just won't find those books. You just won't chance across them. So that is kind of the flip side, if you like, of Kindle Unlimited and the indie author program that Amazon run through Kindle. The other thing I think is worth noting is, in exactly the same way that you can buy products from other companies on Amazon. So Amazon acts as a reseller, if you like, or a shop front for, hundreds, thousands of different companies. So when you search for, like a, USB drive or something on that on Amazon, you'll get ones that are sold by Amazon, and you'll also get ones that are sold by other companies through Amazon. So Amazon process the payment and take a cut. One of the reasons Amazon do that is A, they take a cut, so they take a percentage of every sale, but also they get all the data about those sales, and they can tell what things are selling well, and they can stock up themselves on more of those things and promote their own versions of those things. And they also have like the Amazon Basics line where they make like batteries and all sorts of different things now you can buy that are Amazon branded, and those are things they know sell well on Amazon. And the reason they know they sell well on Amazon is because they've let other people sell those things and they've farmed all the data. I think they do the same thing with indie authors. I think, so Amazon, publish books themselves as well. They have a publishing company, Thomas and Mercer, I think it's called. I think they use indie authors as a way to gather data about what is popular with Kindle readers, and then, get authors to write books in those genres, those, using those tropes and things like that, and then, publish them themselves. So they are all about getting data about what is going to be successful in the market. And I think they do that with books as well as with other products. So that for me is the flip side of Kindle Unlimited. So I don't miss having it. I haven't missed having it, for the last few months when I haven't had it. I do see the benefit of it for indie authors, but I think that benefit comes with a bit of a cost as well. Okay, so let's talk about my personal experience then and what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks to make this work for me. And it has worked. I haven't picked up any of my Kindle devices. I haven't used the Kindle app at all. I've been happily reading on my Cobo, which I recently got, and on my Books Palmer, and my Big Me as well to an extent. So what I've done is, and this has been a long and time-consuming process, but I've downloaded all of my books off Amazon, and Amazon give you the ability to do that, so you can download Kindle books you've bought onto your laptop. So you can do it, but it takes time to do it. You can't do it in bulk. You have to do it a book at a time, and it takes like 4 clicks to download each book. So literally in the evenings I was sitting there with the TV on, with my wife watching TV, just click, and downloading all these books. So as I talked about in the previous video, if you use an application called Calibre, you can remove the DRM, the digital rights management software that Amazon bake into Kindle books, and that means you can load them onto other devices and read them on other devices. That is something that is not illegal in the UK, so it's legal in the UK. I think it is technically illegal in some other countries. It's technically a breach of copyright law, but I think generally speaking, as long as you are doing it for your own personal use, it's not something that ever gets prosecuted. A number of people in the comments have asked me to make a video about how you do that, about what that process is. I may do that, but there are definitely other there are a load of videos out there on YouTube already that tell you how to do it. So if you're interested in doing it, assuming I don't make a video, then just search for, remove Kindle DRM using Calibre or something like that, and you will find a ton of videos that show you how to do it. Once you've got it set up, it's really easy to do. So I've done that. I've downloaded all of my books. I've removed the DRM, and I've got them on my Cobo and on my other devices as well. And the thing that's been, again, time consuming, but really enjoyable in kind of a nerdy way about that is being in control of those ebooks. So when you buy an ebook from Amazon for your Kindle, they effectively still own it. They can change the cover, and they frequently do change the covers on things. So if there's a Netflix adaptation of a book that you've got on your Kindle, the cover of that book will magically change overnight and get that little sticker that says now on Netflix. So I've got loads of books where the covers are not the covers I bought on those books. So by getting those books into Calibre, this ebook management software I've now got on my laptop, I'm able to to change the covers of the books and put the covers I want. So on some of my books I put like old vintage covers on, which I think it's one of those things that as a kind of book nerd I've just really enjoyed doing. The other thing that frequently annoys me about Kindle books is you will have books where they've added an extra bit, like the publisher's added an extra bit onto the title. So it'll be like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the name of the book. Say the book was called Ghosts on Mars or something like that. It would be like Ghosts on Mars, like the breakout TikTok sensation or something like that. So I've managed to, and I haven't done it on all the thousands of books I've got yet, but I'm gradually going through and removing those extra bits in the titles to just give the pure title. And then the other thing you can do really easily in Calibre is like group books into series and things like that. Add tags so you can have collections on your Cobo. So I've now got collections on my Cobo for like crime books and horror books, all sorts of different things. Now that is something you can do on Kindle, but I'm finding it much easier to do in Calibre. So I've got lots of books that are in multiple collections, and it's just nice. It just makes it much easier to browse through your books on your device. The other thing I found is I feel like I own these books more than I felt like I did before. Before, they were on my Kindle, but they were kind of just up in the cloud, and I'd never looked through all of them to see what I actually had. So it's been really nice, like rediscovering some of the books I'd forgotten that I'd bought, and being able to, manipulate them, change the metadata on them, change the covers on them, and things like that. And I feel like they are more truly mine now. So I've done all of that, and that's worked really well. I did have an issue with one book where the formatting ended up being really weird. I couldn't figure out why, and I had to go through a few steps to get the formatting looking correct. It was adding in like additional page breaks and things like that, but I got that sorted in the end. So by and large, that has been an experience that's been an enjoyable one. It's definitely been time consuming, but I've quite enjoyed investing the time in my digital library. And making it more how I want it to be. So yeah, that has gone well, and I've been really enjoying reading on the Cobo as well. It's a much less in-your-face device. I will be doing a review of the Cobo, so it's the Cobo Libra Color that I've got. So I'll do a review of it fairly soon. But yeah, it's an enjoyable device to read on, and definitely less in your face in terms of like pushing other books to you than the Kindles are. So yeah, so far it's been a really positive experience. I'm enjoying it. I haven't missed using my Kindles at all. The only thing that I haven't figured out a way to do yet, which I think I might miss, but I haven't missed yet, is one of the things that Kindle and Amazon do really well is synchronizing progress and notes and things like that across devices. Now the reason they're able to do that really well, I think, is because as well as being a shop, Amazon is also a massive provider of cloud services for companies. So, the Amazon cloud is absolutely huge, and they've leveraged that cloud capability that they've got to deliver WhisperSync, which is the kind of flashy name they give to the fact that, your Kindle books will synchronize your progress across different devices. So I can't do that with the devices I've got. My devices don't speak to each other. That hasn't been a problem at all yet. I'm tending to just read on one device at a time. And I suspect the reason, the main reason I suspect that Amazon have invested in WhisperSync is because it makes the case for people to have more than one Kindle. And I certainly in the past have been a proponent of having multiple Kindles. I've enjoyed having multiple Kindles. I've enjoyed being able to pick up, like my Kindle Basic when I'm going out and I want something light. And read a bit on that, and then when I get home, sit down in my armchair with my Kindle Scribe, which is much bigger, and read on that. So it does work really well, and I can definitely see the benefits of it. But equally, it feels like something I can live without. So far, at least. We'll see if that feeling continues. But yeah, so far I'm coping okay without it. So I will check back in again in probably another couple of weeks and talk about how this is going. I will be putting up that Cobo Libra Color review soon as well. But in the meantime, I'll leave it there. If you've got any questions about the experience or any comments or thoughts, please do leave them in the comments. But aside from that, I will leave it for now and say, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.